Okay, yeah, we've had a few questions and requests on what we do here at the International Rugby Institute. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what exactly we do. So firstly, who we are. We are the International Rugby Institute. We are in Pretoria, South Africa, and we are playing our rugby here at Naka Bulls Rugby Club. It's a program that's a high performance program that gives rugby players that didn't get contracted as 18 or 19-year-old rugby players the opportunity to work, train, play in a high performance environment. Okay, so the question is on what we offer. Our program consists of more or less 120 hours per month of rugby playing, skills training, as well as strength and conditioning in our gym facility. Now, it's obviously important that everybody understand we don't have a specific program just for everybody or a general program for everybody. It is very position specific, so that makes us a bit more unique than the rest of the programs out there. We also ensure that in our Front Row Academy, as an example, our Front Row Academy has got a lot of detail, extra hours, more than the rest of the guys have, on just specifically in their position as a loose head prop, hooker, or a tight head prop. So it's important that everybody that comes in our program gets the best coaching possible, as well as the best strength and conditioning programs to ensure that they are ready for the professional rugby world out there. Okay, so obviously one of the big questions that we always get is who do we target, and who's the guys that's part of our program. So most of the time we get school leavers or post-matric rugby players that's just finished school and wants to become professional rugby players. Our program is very intense, so we give you a bit of a taste of what it takes to become a professional player. So anybody that wants to become a professional rugby player can come to our program, join our program, and get the best coaching as well as strength and conditioning possible for him to lay that foundation. What happens during the day, what does the program look like, as well as more or less what the week looks like. So a typical day will start with a front row session, so it'll be for the props and the hookers. It'll be very technical, a lot of detail work that's being done. The next session will be a general skill session. That means everybody on the field. It'll be running, passing, contact skills, and so on. So just to make sure that everybody is on the same standard. Then the next session, they will go to the gym. In the gym, they will have rehab and prehab, and then after that, they will do strength work, a lot of stuff that makes sure that the base or the foundation is laid for that player to develop well during our year. Then the guys have got a lunch break. After the lunch break, it'll probably be more or less an hour, and then after that lunch break, the guys will come back to the field, and then they will make sure that they're ready, because they obviously had a long session or morning session, and then we will do positional skills. So the positional skills is, as an example, Scrum Masters will do very specific stuff, box kicks, passes, outside backs will do kicking, catching, the high ball, and then obviously the forwards will do their stuff, which entails line-outs or very specific work that is tailor-made for their position. So that will then be more or less an hour and a half session. They will have a break after that. Then they will come to the club, and they will do club training as a group that will be part of the club system here at Naka Bulls Rugby Club. That'll probably be an hour and a half, sometimes it might be a little bit longer, and then they will go home and the rest for the next day. The week's program obviously during the week they will have different sessions. They have life skills, so there's three life skills or technical and tactical sessions which will be in the classroom. Some of the guys that studies will do their studies. We ensure that there's enough time for the guys to do a bit of studying according to what course they take. And then on a Thursday night, usually it's game night. So the guys will play Thursday evenings. They will play games in the under 20 competition that we play in. And then most of the time they will have their weekends, their Saturdays and Sundays off, to make sure that they get good rest for the next week. So yes, another question we get a lot is where do the guys play and what exposure can we give the players that comes into our program. Now, our players play under 20 rugby in Pretoria under the Blue Bulls club competition, which is probably the strongest in South Africa currently. It's a very, very healthy competition, and the players get enough game time. So we as an institute make sure that each and every player that comes to our program gets the same amount of game time. Obviously it's according to what the schedules allow us to do. Then they will play from, let's say, February month till June. They will play club rugby. After that, we will send all the players, and we've done it for the past 5 years, send all the players to play Currie Cup in different provinces, go play trials. So let's give an example. The Falcons, they each and every year they've got an under 19 or an under 20 competition, and then our players go play trials, and we've had great successes in the past. The same with the other provinces, so it'll be Pumas, Falcons, Lions. Obviously the Bulls look at our players during the season, and if they're good enough they'll be pulled into the system. So yeah, and then obviously we try and give our players exposure across the globe, and give them opportunities to play overseas. We've had some great successes there as well in the past 3 and 4 years. Our achievements for the past 3 years, we've been very blessed with great rugby players that came into our system, and then obviously leaving our system, trying to become professional rugby players. Now we've had 23 players, according to our stats, 23 players that played for Naka Bulls first team, which plays in the top competition in Pretoria. And the team is qualified for the Gold Cup, which is the premier competition in South Africa, which is the top clubs. So it's a very high level, and it's a fantastic achievement for any youngster to play for the first team. Then we've got under 19 Currie Cup players. We've got 10 players that played. That competition was introduced last year. Through all the unions in South Africa, and we had 10 players playing in those competitions. We've had players that played for, as an example, that played for the Lions under 19s, and they trained with us the whole year long, and then at the end of the year they got the opportunity to play Currie Cup under 19 for the Lions. Then our Currie Cup under 20s, that means it's all the unions, the northern unions. It's 51 players, so I think that's also a great achievement for the players that put in the hard work. And then obviously we get that a lot. Parents ask what is the opportunity to get a player abroad. It is very difficult to get players abroad and get professional contracts, but in the last 3 years we had 21 players that got contracts, short-term contracts or even long-term contracts to play overseas, and we are building on that base to ensure that we make it bigger for the next couple of years. So like I said earlier, each and every player that comes into our system, we want to put a product out there in the market that everybody is very proud of. So the next question is accommodation and meals, and how does it work here? Through the years, we've adapted a different model than most of the players. So the players don't stay in one spot. We've got a fantastic network that we use of agents, estate agents in Pretoria or in the Moort area that we use. Players get their own accommodation, and then the next one obviously is meals. How does that work? Now, to become a professional rugby player, they need discipline, and we always say to the parents and to the players, they've got to be disciplined enough to look after their own meals, make their breakfast, make sure that before they get up, that they have something to eat, and before they come to training. So we believe that's a very important aspect of developing the players as well as educating them. Then we give the players good meal advice, dietary nutrition advice as well, but it's important that the players understand they've got to make their own meals wherever they stay, because that's what it will take if they get an opportunity to go abroad, to have that base to make sure that they can make their own meals.